So, what's the future of business actually going to look like in 2026? Well, Gartner just dropped their top 10 strategic tech trends, and it's basically a playbook for a world that's not just changing, it's accelerating like crazy, all thanks to AI and being constantly connected. We're about to break down the 10 massive shifts that are set to change, well, pretty much everything. And listen, these aren't just buzzwords. These are fundamental changes that every single leader needs to get their head around and, more importantly, act on. This is your guide to getting ahead of the curve. Look, the world is moving at an absolutely breakneck pace. So what's the plan? It's probably the most important question any organization can ask itself right now. And in the next few minutes, we're going to lay out a clear, actionable strategy for exactly what's coming our way. What I love is how Gartner groups these 10 trends into 3 really essential roles. First up, you have the architect, who builds the foundation. Then there's the synthesist, who creates new value. And finally, the vanguard, who protects the whole thing. We're going to explore each one and then see how it all comes together. Let's boil this down even more. Step 1, build. Step 2, create. And step 3, protect. Build, create, protect. It's a really simple framework, but man, it is incredibly powerful when you think about it. All right, let's jump right in with role number 1, the architect. This is all about laying down the tracks, building that rock-solid digital foundation that's secure, that can scale, and that's ready for whatever AI decides to throw at it. Okay, this first trend is an absolute game changer. AI native development platforms. We're talking about platforms that use generative AI to literally help you build software faster and easier than ever. I mean, AI agents are actually helping design, code, and test applications. How wild is that? And the impact is going to be massive. Get this, by 2030, a staggering 80% of organizations are expected to shift from big software engineering teams to much smaller AI-augmented teams. That is a fundamental change in how work gets done. So what's really interesting here is the contrast. We're moving away from that old model of having huge teams, dozens of people, to these tiny hyper-productive teams that are just super powered by these AI platforms. I mean, think about it. 5 teams of 2 could ship 5 different apps at once. The scale is just nuts. Now, the architect needs 2 more key pieces to make this all work. First, AI supercomputing platforms. You just need the sheer horsepower to run these crazy advanced AI models. And second, something called confidential computing. This is a new frontier in security that protects your data not just when it's sitting there, but while it's actively being used. That's a critical piece of this whole puzzle. Okay, so you've built that solid foundation. Now what? Well, now it's time to create. And that brings us to our second role, the synthesist. This is the person who weaves together all these different technologies to create brand new value. This is where the innovation really starts to pop. And a huge part of that innovation is something called multi-agent systems. So instead of one giant do-it-all AI, the future is all about having a whole collection of specialized AI agents that work together, that collaborate to get complex stuff done. You can really think of it as an AI dream team. And you can see the journey right here. We're evolving from agents just kind of working on their own to talking across different platforms, all the way to a global internet of agents that can find each other and collaborate automatically. The potential for solving complex problems here is, well, it's almost unimaginable. But of course, it's not just about the cool tech. As the saying goes, CIOs need to see measurable business value from all this AI. That laser focus on results is exactly what drives our next trend. And that trend is domain-specific language models, or DSLMs. Think of it this way. A general AI is like a family doctor. It knows a little about everything. A DSLM is like a brain surgeon. It's been trained on incredibly specific data for one field, like finance or healthcare, to give way more accurate and compliant results. So the next trend from the synthesist takes AI out of the digital world and puts it into the physical one. We're all used to digital AI, right? Chatbots, forecasting tools. But physical AI is intelligence you can actually touch. We're talking industrial robots, autonomous drones, all kinds of smart devices. And hey, this isn't science fiction, it's happening right now, and the impact is huge. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 80% of warehouses will be using some form of robotics or automation. This is literally taking digital productivity and plugging it straight into the physical world. Okay, so we've built our foundation, we've created all this amazing value, now we have to protect it. And that brings us to our final and maybe most critical role, the vanguard. This is all about trust, governance, and security in a world where the risks are just getting bigger every day. Trend number 7 completely flips the script on security. It's called preemptive cybersecurity. For years, security has been all about reacting to attacks after they happen. This is about using AI to anticipate, disrupt, and stop threats before they even occur. It's the difference between building a wall and seeing the attack coming from a mile away. Next up is digital provenance. You can think of this as a certificate of authenticity for the digital world. It proves where a piece of software or data or media actually came from and that it hasn't been tampered with. In a world full of deepfakes and disinformation, you can see why this is so important. Now, this is really interesting. When we talk about AI security platforms, where do you think the biggest risks come from? You might think it's hackers, right? External attacks? Well, check this out. A shocking 80% of unauthorized AI transactions are expected to come from internal policy violations. The biggest threat is often already inside the house. And our final trend, geopatriation, is a direct response to the turbulent world we live in. With all the geopolitical tensions and new data laws, companies are strategically moving their cloud operations from these big global providers to more secure, local, or national ones. It's really about taking back control and lowering your risk in a pretty unpredictable world. So let's bring this all together. What does all of this mean for you and for our hyper-connected future? It all comes down to these 3 roles, working together in harmony. The architect builds the foundation. The synthesist creates value on top of it. And the vanguard protects everything. To really win in this new era, you have to master all 3. So here's the bottom line. The future isn't something that's just going to happen to us. It's being actively built, created, and protected right now using these exact technologies. So the only real question left is, what role are you going to play? Are you ready?